Hello guys and welcome to this video. Good to have you back. I would like to show in a short video a good example of why dogs are just unbelievably stupid. And this is not even from any dog hater channel or any kind of critical show. This is from a show called Bondi Vet. You can find that on YouTube as well. So Bondi is a beach in, I think it's in Sydney, Australia. And I used to watch that series because, they show different vets and what they are doing and, all the drama with the animals that they have to save. It's not just in Sydney, but also in other parts of Australia. And I used to watch it because I was more interested in, the kind of weird wildlife that they have in Australia. So you also see vets that have to, take care of the crocodiles, or they have to take care of koalas and kangaroos and 7-meter long snakes and stuff like that. But of course, they also have a lot of dog stuff. And here is actually one of the examples of a dog emergency. So let's have a look at that.
Hey Dorados, this is Lola. She's become really bloated overnight and the owners are really concerned.
At the Animal Emergency Hospital in Queensland, Gerardo's just received his first patient for the night.
Let's pop her on the table, hey? Lola is a sweet staffy where the owners were shocked to find that her belly was the size of a soccer ball.
Now, look at that lovely little darling, guys. Look at that blockhead. And I don't have to tell you guys what this means and what this thing is capable of. And you all know what I think what should be done with that mutt. But okay, let's continue.
Yeah, let's try and see if we can rule out that bloated stomach that we definitely don't want to see, hey? Wait, let's go to x-rays. You can come along this way. X-ray was this way.
All right, so the little blockhead is going to get an x-ray because they want to see what is up with the stomach because it's so bloated, that whole thing. And there are several possibilities. It could have a twisted stomach, which has to be remedied with surgery, or there are other possibilities. But they will see shortly what the reason for the bloated stomach is. Let's go on.
Immediately, it's obvious on x-rays that her stomach is distended with food.
It's huge, eh? That is a big stomach full of food. Did you eat all your food in one go? Hey? That has got to be uncomfortable. Look at the size of this thing. Normally the stomach should only be around about this big, and it is huge.
Although not as deadly as a twisted stomach, bloat from overeating is still a serious condition.
She's not out of the woods yet. Lola has eaten what appears to be a huge amount of dry dog food. And when that starts to digest, it will swell, make the stomach even bigger, and then that will cause her to go into shock because it will start interfering with blood supply through her body.
All right, so we see it's not a twisted stomach. It is just overeating. So that mutt just ate half a bag of dry dog food. And you saw that the vet showed it, on the x-ray, how large or how big the stomach should actually be normally and how big it is now in this mutt. It's like 4 times as big as normal, which can be life-threatening, because it's just extended so much that it is actually constricting its own blood flow, and the blood circulation and your system might just collapse because of that restricted blood flow. So let's see what they're going to do about it, shall we?
I think we'll need to have a discussion about maybe making her vomit and getting some of that out. If we can get part of that out, it might make her feel a lot better. Okay, come on. What I'm going to do now is try to make Lola vomit. If this works, it could solve everyone's problems. But if it doesn't, it might mean that she needs to stay in hospital for the next day or two. Okay, let's go. Come on, Lola. One of these tablets should be enough for you. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. She's a sweet little thing. Okay, rub it on the gumsies. Oh. Yeah, okay. Rub it all in there. Good girl. Good girl. Fingers crossed we get some of that up, eh? So we're just giving Lola some medication which will make her feel very nauseous. And hopefully in about 10 minutes, she'll bring up a lot of food, which will make her feel a lot more comfortable. And if she brings up enough, she could go home straight away. Okay.
All right, so this ugly bully breed mutt got a tablet that will make it feel sick, and then the vet will just make that thing throw up all that stuff that it ate. Now let's have a look at how tasty that is.
Oh. Dry food. Come on. It's on a small amount. Oh my God. Success. Lola is bringing up the dry dog food. Oh, it's okay. I know you don't feel good, but that's really good. You're doing a good job. And it just kept on coming. More and more dry food. Oh. Whoosh. Whoosh. It smells very fresh. Oh, she's so sweet. Let's give someone the pats. Oh, it's better. Much better. Oh, it keeps on going. That is a phenomenal amount of food. Lola brought up an epic amount of dry dog food. When I look at her belly now, she looks back to normal.
Yeah, fantastic. So, what a great job you have as a vet. Now, look, oh God, just look at this ugly mutt. It's unbelievable. It just really, like, I don't have to tell you guys, you know, what should actually be done with that, but okay, great. So, look, you see the amount of food that it threw up. Now, first, that the point that I would like to make is that how stupid does an animal have to be that it is actually able to eat itself to death? And that's what dogs are. They are able to actually eat themselves to death. And you know, this is something that you could object that you have that a lot with animals. You even see it in this show, Bondi Vet, that they often have animals that swallowed certain objects, and you know, they have to get those objects out of them. So you know, artificial objects, like, I don't know, they swallowed pieces of clothing, or I don't know, like plastic, or pieces of furniture, or all sorts of stuff, you know, all sorts of stuff. And not only dogs do that, you know, I mean, let's stick to the truth. Not only dogs do that, but you know, you have to object here that is not necessarily a sign of stupidity, because these are materials that the animals simply don't know. You know, plastic, of course, being the best example. Loads of animals do swallow plastic, and it doesn't mean that they're stupid. It is something that they just don't know, and often, you know, the plastic does have, you know, the consistency of potential food, And you know, you have all sorts of animals, also intelligent animals swallowing that, like dolphins or whatever, you know, all, birds, all sorts of stuff, all sorts of animals. So that's not necessarily a sign of stupidity. But here, I mean, dogs, as far as I know, dogs are the only animals that I know that are so stupid that they actually kill themselves with their own proper food. You know, this is not this animal, you know, swallowing some kind of unknown object that it has just not learned anything about. It's the regular food. They kill themselves with their regular food. They're so stupid, you cannot even leave them alone with their regular, harmless food because they're just going to kill themselves. They're going to eat themselves to death. I mean, that's just so ridiculous. Like, you even have, like, why would you want to do that to yourself? Like, you can't even feed these mutts like a normal pet because you just have to stand there all the time supervising them because, and you know, restricting the amount of food that they get, and you know, locking all the food away from them because they are the only ones able to just kill themselves with it. If they get access to their bag of food, then they'll just gobble up all of it until they die. And it's just so stupid. These animals are so dumb. Like, they wouldn't survive for 10 minutes in nature, actually. They just wouldn't. And you know, there will probably be dog owners or dog keepers objecting here that, yeah, perhaps, you know, the dog was perhaps like really starved and then it just ate a huge amount, you know, in one go. But does this mutt look starved to you? I mean, you can immediately see that this mutt is not starved at all. It was probably fed half a day previously. So this is not an animal that is like skin and bones. Like, you see immediately that this one is well fed, and there was just absolutely no necessity to gobble up an entire bag of dry dog food. These animals are so stupid, really. And yeah, great. Now it got saved. Now it got saved by humans, so it can walk out of the clinic and the next day probably maul somebody. Yeah, brilliant. I mean, how dumb are we actually? My God, why are we doing this to ourselves? And also, you know, one thing that I noticed, and perhaps you noticed it as well, like, look at this unbelievable wimp of an animal. Like, they're such unbelievable wimps. Like, they're all the biggest bullies, and they're absolutely ruthless when they attack somebody else or some other dog or some other animal, no matter what. They're absolutely ruthless. But you know, as soon as they have a little tummy ache, I mean, look at how wimpy they suddenly turn. You know, oh my God, like, this animal is such an unbelievable weakling. Like, it's just so funny that, you know, all those tough guys, all those gangster types, they want to own one of those bully breed dogs. And I mean, look at what wimps they actually are. Like, oh my God, like, if you want to be a tough guy, then why don't you just own a tarantula or a scorpion or anything? I mean, these are much tougher animals. That, like, look at these wimps. It's just embarrassing. It's just ridiculous. They're so pathetic. And yeah, I mean, they're just laughable, really. This is so laughable. Like, this is such an unnecessary animal. It's unbelievable. But yeah, you know, this is just one example of how stupid dogs are. Dogs are really the only animals that are able to kill themselves with their proper food. With their proper food. Like, you can't even leave them alone with their proper food. They will just eat themselves to death. They're so stupid. Oh my God. Yeah, so much about that, guys. One of the reasons he's here. Okay. That's enough for today, I think. Guys, you take care now, and goodbye.
afraid of your freedom.